Hello and welcome to this episode of I Don't Know Jack About Parenting, where today I'm going to tell you that without a doubt, your kids are going to make mistakes. So the big question is this: how are parents like us, who don't have a manual, who are doing the best we can, who feel as though we aren't enough, how are we going to raise healthy, happy children who we are proud of and still keep our sanity in that process? That's the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Ryan Roy, and welcome to I Don't Know Jack About Parenting, a podcast for parents who are being real with themselves. Hello, welcome to this episode of I Don't Know Jack About Parenting, where today I'm going to be talking about how, without a doubt, your kids will make mistakes. So I always kind of start this as to, why did I think of this title? Why am I talking about this particular topic on this podcast? And today, it's not that they're going to make mistakes. It's how are we as parents going to respond to these mistakes? So I literally just got a message on Facebook from a good friend of mine who his wife forwarded him something on parenting and said, "This reminds me of Ryan." If you don't know, that's me. So, and it goes on to say that a little boy dropped a slushie in a restaurant or somewhere, and he had this look on his face as he looked up at the dad, and the dad said, essentially, "No big problem. Let's just clean it up." The dad went over and got some napkins, and they started cleaning it up, and as he got done, the father looked at him, and they were walking out, and he said, "You're going to be human for a long time, and you're going to make mistakes. But as long as you own up to your mistakes, the cleanup is going to be really easy." And that parenting lesson or gesture reminded her of me, which is the ultimate compliment, because I don't even know necessarily that I would have gone that far. But I can tell you, just last week, my son did something similar, and without the lesson at the end, which I may use in the future, is we're always going to be human, and we're going to make mistakes, but as long as we own up to them, listen, the cleanup is going to be that much easier. I love that. And my son made a mistake, and I looked at him and I said, "It's okay. Mistakes happen." And we cleaned it up. But what I always say to him, which is similar or along the same lines, there is a lesson. And I ask him this question, because mistake has a negative connotation to it. I said, "Mistakes are good. Do you know why?" And this is something my mother always said to me. And his response is, "Because we get to learn from them." So your kids are going to make mistakes. But in that example, where the kid dropped the slushie and his dad, "Hey, let's not cry over spilled milk," kind of thing. You made the mistake. He also added on that is to be more aware. Be more aware, because potential mistakes can happen, but the more awareness we have, the greater chance we have of not making the same mistake due to our awareness. Now, that's not what he said exactly, but that's me giving the deeper lesson. The lesson for my son: mistakes are good. In business, right, they often say you have to get to a certain amount of no's before you get a yes in sales, right? I mean, not everybody says yes to your product or service. A lot of people say no. You've watched plenty of commercials. Have you bought all those products? No. So essentially, every one of those is you saying no to their product. They put it in front of 100,000 people, hoping 1,000 will purchase. It's 99,000 no's, 99,000 failures, 99,000 mistakes, if you will. But it's not what they do, it's how they respond. How are you going to respond to your kids when they make a mistake? Are you going to scold them? Are you going to yell at them? Are you going to tell them to be more careful? Or are you lovingly going to say to them, hey, mistakes happen, it's okay. What did we learn from this as we're cleaning it up together? Letting them know that you are a part in that. Not that it's a mistake thing, but I just want to give another little analogy. This just popped in my head yesterday when I picked up my 22-month-old from daycare. I walked in and he is picking up the Legos that they were using, those big block Legos that the 1 and 2-year-olds use, and he's putting them in a bucket. And I watched him put 5 or 6 of them in a bucket. And it was his first day in this class, and the teacher says, he's such a good helper. I said, thank you. She goes, why does he do that? I said, because he cleans up his own stuff at home. I say, hey, let's clean up. It's time to eat, or let's clean up. It's time to go to bed. Let's clean up. And I start helping him, and we make a game out of it. So let's clean up looks like something fun to do. If we make a mistake, let's clean it up. Let's do it together. Dad's here to guide you and clean up this mess. But there's going to come a point in time where, as parents, we need to relinquish that and allow them to clean up their own mistakes. But how can we expect them to do that if we never let them know it's okay to have a mistake anyway, and then show them when it is okay to have that mistake, that we show them through our actions and our words how to clean it up? So, Connie, if you ever listen to this, thank you so much for the compliment. Thank you for the idea for the parenting podcast episode. See, I don't know jack about parenting. I will say that a lot of this, for me, feels instinctual, but I think I would be cutting myself short if I were to say that, guys. I was scared to death as a parent when I first became one, so I read everything I possibly could. I've read lots of books. I'm on parenting forums so that it seems like it's coming natural now, or like I was just born to be a pretty good dad. But the fact of the matter is, I put a lot of energy and effort into this stuff for someone to pay me that amazing compliment. And you could say, hey, that was easy for you. But what I would say about parenting skills is it is a skill. It's a learnable. Skills are learnable. So as long as you put forth the effort and energy, and I'm not saying you have to put the energy that I've put into it, but if you implement 1 or 2 strategies and they work for you, and then you go and say, well, that worked, let me do another one and another one. Over time, those things compound, and it becomes a natural ability to empower your kids in a positive way. And if you need a head start on some of that, you could always go to BeTheDadYouWishYouHad.com/free book and get 40 lessons that I used in the first 5 years of my first son's life, and continue to use today with him, and continue and am using again in my second son's life. Simple, not always easy to do. Mistakes happen. How are you going to respond? We'll see you in the next episode. Do you want to be the dad you wish you had? If so, go get my free book, Be the Dad You Wish You Had, at BeTheDadYouWishYouHad.com. Inside, you'll find my most effective 40 tips to quickly and easily transform yourself into the ideal dad. Go to BeTheDadYouWishYouHad.com now and get it while it's free.